Am I on? Okay. Thank you for coming. We had not planned on having this meeting because we were going to have it on the 9th, but then we decided since the bylaws say we have to have a board meeting on the 2nd, we said to have this one, then we have the election next week. So we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call from the board members.
Okay, there we go. Okay, Ron Carter. Larry Hufty.
Here.
Linda Hufty. Lindsay Kelly. I am here. Lisa Pendang. Gary Russell. Mike Roden. Perry Dewey. We have everyone. Or we have quorum. Yep.
The meeting was posted on the entrance boards and also was sent out by email and mailed on February 16th, so we met the 14-day guideline. The minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on September 6th of 2023 by the previous board, was approved on 9/26 and was posted on Pay HOA on 9/27 for everyone if anyone wants to see the meetings from the past meeting, the minutes from the past meeting. First thing we'll do is go through committee reports. First one will be treasurer, and Lindsay's going to give that. Linda can't be here. She's at work. So.
Do I have others too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just stay up here.
Okay, figured. All right, so for the treasurer's report, dues collected for this 2023-2024 fiscal year, we have received 157 out of the 158 lots, and let's see, that means they are all allowed to vote in this upcoming election. The cash available as of 2/29 is $98,504.23. And then for financial reports for the 23-24 year will be available on Pay HOA after the end of the 3/31-23 fiscal year. All right. Okay.
Compliance.
Am I giving compliance? Okay.
Okay, compliance has nothing. Compliance has nothing to report. ACC.
We've had 5 submissions in the last 2 or 3 weeks. There was a ADU unit that got approved.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
There you go. We have 1 ADU that was approved, 1 re-roof that was approved, 2 pools, and 3 that submitted for landscaping, and we told them they didn't need it. They were just redoing landscaping around their home and putting in a koi pond or something. So, but other than that, that was all we had.
Thank you, Ron. Trails Committee.
We rode the trails this morning. There are 2 areas that are going to need some attention with some landscaping, trimming back, and we have quotes pending on both of those, and then some just other general trimming up that we're going to try and get a committee together to try and do that ourselves to save some money. And then the front entrance was re-mulched earlier in December, and it looks wonderful, and that's all I have to report.
Hospitality. Hospitality has nothing to report. And Nomination Committee.
It's nice being small. You can kind of get away with it. We have a full slate of nominees right now, but nominees will continue to be accepted until 5 o'clock on Friday. President Lindsay Kelly, Vice President Danielle Hayford, Treasurer John Sheridan Giese, Secretary Connie King, the Architectural Control Committee Chair Amy Gates, and Member Ron Carter.
Thank you, Patricia. And Murder Committee.
Apparently, when I sent out the new tally yesterday, I was told today that the attachment wasn't there. So right after this meeting is completed, I'll go ahead and get that forwarded to everybody. The tally as of last night was 79 yes and 34 no.
Was it? Okay. Okay, all right.
Well,
Couple
we'll
people-
make sure we get it out to everybody.
We had a couple people that said they didn't have the attachment. So.
Yes. Well, we'll resend it, but
Okay.
is that what you showed, the 79 and 34?
Okay. It was in the email, but did you have the spreadsheet attached to it also? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the spreadsheet was attached.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It had the verbiage of it, but it
No, I checked mine and I didn't have a spreadsheet, so. Okay.
Like I said, we'll resend it as soon as this meeting's over and we'll go.
So that's all we have for committees. New business, I want to remind everybody that the last nominations for the 24-25 election must be submitted to the election committee by 5 p.m. on this coming Friday, March 8th, so that they can put together the voting list, print it up, and have it ready for the meeting the next day. Per the arbitrator, the meeting's going to be, the election's going to be fairly long. It's going to be a 6-hour time frame. It's going to be held at the Church of Montverde, which is, if you go down 455, make a right like you go into the post office. It used to be the Methodist Church of Montverde. It's now the Church of Montverde. And it's on the left-hand side, the same side as the post office. And it'll be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. At 3 p.m., the last person that's checked in, no more ballots can be given after that. And we have a moderator that will be there, and I'm going to let Lindsay talk about that.
So I've been in touch with the moderator to coordinate things for the day of, and right now our estimate is around $1,100 for services for the 6 hours of the election, and that's assuming an extra hour afterwards for counting purposes, recording purposes, documentation, letting him do his thing. And I'm assuming we'll probably, beforehand, I think we'll probably send out just a little bit of information of the day of in general, because we'll be splitting kind of the room up, and there'll be some logistics involved for those that want to come back maybe at 3 p.m. to watch the count or hear the announcement, or you'll get some more further information on that further on.
Anybody have any questions about that while Lindsay's up here? Okay, the moderator was, that was told, we were given that decision from the arbitrator that we had to have a moderator, that we had to have a 6-hour election. It could only be in person. You had to show ID. And people, once you voted, you had to stay 20 feet away from the voting tables. So that was all dictated to us from the arbitrator on the decision that was done. The bios will go out this week sometime, correct, Patricia? You have them almost ready? Okay. For all the candidates running. If they'll go out early this week, if someone submits their name after that, we'll try to get them out for you, but there's no promises that we'll get them out in time for the election, but we'll do our best to get any bios out from anybody who comes in, names come in late. It's nice so that we would like to have one more ACC person if possible, but it's nice that we've got a full slate. And Connie says she'd be more than happy to step down if someone wants to take secretary from her. So, I want to personally thank the outgoing board, which will end on next weekend. We kind of woke up one morning and found out we were back in service again. Wasn't something that we expected, but everyone stepped up and said, if it's our job, we're going to do it. And it's been really quite satisfying to have the old board just go in and get moving on all this. It's a testament to how dedicated a lot of the people in this community are to keeping this community running. After we get done with this meeting, which will be in just a few minutes, we'll have a Q&A for the candidates to give a short talk, and you can ask them questions. But before we do that, does anyone have any questions to the board or myself before we start? Yes, ma'am. Hang on, we got to get you a mic. We have to give you a mic. This is being live streamed, so anybody who...
Okay, thank you. I'm Debbie Ginther, Lot 100. I was just curious.
Could you bring it closer to your
I'm
mouth?
curious if the ACC or why the ACC has to even review any projected projects right now, because from what I'm understanding, none of us are under CCNRs. So what's the purpose of the ACC at this point?
You're absolutely right that nobody has to submit to the ACC at this point, but it gives us some history. So if anybody comes back later on and says, you know, why did you put this up? Did you have authorization to do it? Even though you can say, no, we didn't have to have authorization, we did submit it and got an approval. It's just a historical thing, but you're absolutely correct. You could put up a 20-foot barn in your backyard right now, and it would pass because there's nobody to say no. Well, the county would have to approve it, yes, but the community has no approval. Any other questions? Okay. Need a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Okay, this meeting is now adjourned. So now we'll start off with Lindsay to talk about her bio for president, and we'll move on ahead from there and just get it out. If you have any questions after she gets finished, throw them out. Tessa will come by with the mic so that you can ask questions.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Lindsay Kelly. A lot of you probably know me. I am always running around riding horses, helping neighbors. I've been your secretary for a year, VP for a partial year, back to secretary, and then I've been concurrently on trails, grounds, and the hospitality committees. In the time I've been involved in the last 2.5 years, more heavily, I've been learning the ins and outs of what runs this neighborhood, what maintenance we require, the typical issues we run into, how to kind of have community morale. I know it's not easy, but we've had some successful picnics recently, field days. We've had groups of 12 to 20 people come down, just have some fun in the common area. Things like that I would like to continue to see. I'm always listening to your personal requests and concerns and trying to learn constantly. So I'm a structural engineer by profession. I dive into dozens of problems every day. So when I learned about some of the things going on in this neighborhood, I figured, listen, I think I can help. I've done very massive document reviews on the professional commercial level. Obviously a little bit different from the HOA standpoint, but much bigger scale. So I figured I can bring a little bit of goal setting, just some management help in there for the process that we may or be doing soon. And as I'm a big Disney buff. I mean, my engineering is typically doing theme parks and attractions. That's kind of my niche. So one of my favorite Disney movies is The Lion King. One of my favorite quotes is, yes, the past can hurt you, but you can either learn from it or run from it, and you have to learn from it to be able to move forward. So I'm saying that because I feel I can help us move forward. I could talk all night about the things I've seen and heard, and just the miscommunication everywhere, and there's a lot of intentions that things have happened, and I think it's important to not forget what's happened in the past, but to move on from it and come together and just be better from that. So going forward, just a few action items, let's say, because I'm a planner. So these are all open to adjustment. Obviously, whatever team is my board at the time, we'll talk through these, adjust them. I'll get everyone's feedback and input on them as well. But the first is to reinstate our document review committee to work on updating both the bylaws and the CCNRs. We did have an active committee for the better part of half of last year. Things were a little derailed with the various legal items, the switch of the board, just things happening in everyone's personal life with our volunteers. But I feel like we have a good opportunity right now. Everyone seems to want to start getting more involved. The documents are a focal point of that. There's many great ideas. I mean, there's probably, 25 people in this room possibly. Each and every one of us probably has an awesome, brilliant idea to bring to the table, and I would love to talk to you one-on-one with that. Let's bounce ideas off of each other. With that being said, do you guys know we only have 10 articles in our bylaws? We have 26 CCNRs. That is nothing. We can easily spend some time, spend 6 months, let's say, break them out on a monthly goal of how do we want to review these. Let's send out monthly surveys to the neighbors, get input and feedback. We had 2 or 3 surveys that went out last year, and we had pretty good response from individuals. We just want to know what you want. We're not mind readers. And I think it's important because we have a huge opportunity right now to do things better and more improved. With that, people, it's always the concern about participation. Again, I'm an engineer, so you'll hear numbers come from me. I kind of try to paint pictures with numbers. So as we have it right now, we have 75% of our neighborhood is about 119 people. So when you look at how many people have actively participated in this MRTA vote, we have about 113 individuals participate in MRTA. And there's about 12 or so other individuals that have expressed great interest in continuing to update or improve our neighborhood and our documents. So I think we have it there to just start the documentation process. We can do that line item by line item. We could do one line item, adjust our voting requirement with the 75% of the neighborhood, get that adjusted, say that most neighborhoods are 51 to 60%, let's say, and then when that gets updated, we can work on the rest of our documents from there. Do it in bulk, do it in sections. Again, that's up to the committees, the people that volunteer, the board, the neighborhood in general to decide. I don't want to get too into this because I don't want to take everybody's time, but additionally, I'd like to reinstate the communications committee. We used to have a communications committee, is my understanding. I have a bunch of Trails Tales newsletters that used to go out to the neighborhood on a, I think, monthly, every other month basis, or kind of as needed, just to have an open means to update neighbors, whether it be presidential updates, just in general events going on. Maybe a neighbor is having a fun cookout or a block party or something like that. So I think open communication, so a communication committee I think could be very, very important, from having the newsletter standpoint, helping with responding to emails, maybe having some kind of an open discussion platform. HOA does have like a discussion board, which I've been kind of playing around with lately, and I think it could be helpful at least to try out and see if individuals like it, how it's perceived in the neighborhood. Lastly, I think, again, you only get community morale if you do things as a community. I would laugh at you 5 years ago if I would have said I'd be up here telling people we should do things as a community, because, horse people are usually with our horses doing our horse things. Not that we're not friendly and approachable, but, we kind of have our niche and we like to stay there. But I've gotten to meet dozens of individuals. I was looking the other day and I have like 60 contacts from neighbors I've met in the last 5 years. That's meeting people at picnics. That's meeting people at block parties. I would love to promote more of a field day event every 3 or 4 months, just to we have so many kids in our neighborhood that don't know each other. So I think that's a great opportunity to kind of just come more together and get to know each other a little bit better. I can't promise that this year will be perfect. I'm not a perfect individual. There could be bumps in the road. That is literally the definition of life. But I will always have an open ear to take your questions and concerns. I try to be approachable to everybody. I've seen that with just many people coming to me, bouncing off ideas as I'm like brand new to the board 2 years ago and have no idea what's going on, but I can get those questions and concerns to whoever it needed to hear it. So it will take all 158 of us to vote, look at surveys, take 5 minutes every month just to respond, participate if you're interested and able to. I think we have an amazing opportunity to make this neighborhood what we want right now, and that might look different for everybody, but we need to come to some kind of commonality or agreement, or just some kind of middle ground. We can make it to where the majority of us do love and appreciate, which I think a lot of us do, but I just kind of want to promote that we have a path forward, and I am welcoming the challenge and the opportunity to move us forward through that. And I can't do it without a team behind me and the board, and as well as everyone in all 158 of us in our neighborhood. So that's all that I had. Trying to speed it up because I know my time was gone like 3 minutes ago. Are we doing questions now, or, okay. Anybody got questions?
Will you commit to taking a state-approved executive board training class?
Yeah, and I've actually already started on the HOA Leader website, so I am fully prepared to do that.
the HOA leader doesn't provide a course, but you got a list of the approved vendors
Yes, yeah, through them, I
from the
believe
state?
it was. Yeah.
From the state?
Yeah.
Okay. And they are free, some of them. And I would encourage everybody in this room to take one because they are available to everybody, including non-board members.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Anybody else? Up front here?
Sorry. I was looking the other direction.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
First of all, love the message. But one of the things that, as a resident, I've been here since 2005. I've known many of the neighbors here, and I've talked to Larry a couple times in the past. One of the things I do ask is if there is some sort of, a request or something that needs to be done with, let's say, a personal home. I've never had to do that, but I've talked to some of the, some of our neighbors right now. Excuse me. They felt that the letters were a little bit too aggressive if something was to be fixed. I think that's one of the things we're asking is if something is to be done, a lot of stuff could be done via phone call. And instead of some, how letters and text get read very differently. I could be like, hey, what's up? And some people are like, whoa, what's going on? They're like, is he angry at me? I was like, no, I'm just saying hello, what's up? So that's kind of the things that I've heard through the neighbors.
Okay, great.
I've actually one time, long time ago, talked to Larry. I got a letter, and I called, like, Mr. Larry, I'm in trouble. He's like, no, could you just do this? Oh, no problem. Did it, and I was done, as I was talking to some of the neighbors. But some people are very set. I'm going to tell you right now, we are very quick to disagree before we agree, and then before you know it, we just agree to disagree. So that's one of the things I'm going to ask is maybe more communication, and I think things would be a lot better.
Great. Yeah, thanks for the feedback.
Thank you.
Hi. I just have to capitalize on what he's saying there. I think it's a great idea, and I agree with everything he said. Maybe with that, we could coattail on it and say if somebody is having a difficulty physically or financially, that they need some help, not necessarily you got to pay their bills, but that, if they can't fix something that's outside that people may be complaining about, maybe we could have just a blurb in there that says, I'm at which lot and I need some assistance to do such and such a fix-up. Then the neighbors could all get together and we could we could find each other again and get to talk to each other.
Yeah, I love that. Yep. Is that it? Okay. Feel free to talk to me afterwards if you have anything or think of anything else later on. No. What is it? No, one of us needs to go back at some point and I'll look at questions. Maybe that's a good time. While she's doing that, yeah, Danielle, who's running for vice president, is unfortunately working today, and so is our treasurer, who's Jason. He is not. He is also working today as well. But their bios will go out sometime this week that you can kind of get to know them and see how they're qualified and whatnot, and if they have any ideas in there as well. No comments yet? Okay. It's blinding up here, so you might want to stay down there.
Everybody's trying to take care of me, which I appreciate. I've been involved with the trails for 35 years. We bought our lot in 1988, built a house in 1991, so we've been residents for 32 years. I've been involved in the board many times, both as secretary and have helped with the front planting back years ago, and we were able to do that with volunteers. I'm running for secretary because I think I can take pretty good notes and get them out to the people who need to know what is happening. All of the chair people report on the internet, so all of the reports are available for all of you to see. I don't know what else to tell you, except I've been around a long time, and I know most everybody in this room, and if I don't know you, I would like to. So thank you very much.
Anyone have any questions for Connie?
Hi, I don't know if you guys should hopefully know me. I was part of the ACC chair on, I don't even know how we're referring to ourselves, 2020, with everything that has switched back and forth. I was an ACC member on the old team. Then I became ACC chair on last year's half team. And back to ACC member as we switch back. I am running for ACC chair again, more for continuity than anything else. I do try to take as open-minded view of the requirements as I can manage, and our policy tends to be, if it's something that's technically against the rules, we will work with you to try to work around it in such a way. Oh, look, somebody else has tried something similar. It was this. Did you want to go this direction? That sort of thing. In an effort to get a yes on everything that we possibly can. I kind of look at my job as my only no's are going to be polka dots on your house, plaid, probably. Everything else we can find a way around to try to make it happen. I'm also very supportive of Lindsay's efforts to overhaul the CCNRs, not to say that they are wrong, but rather they don't deal with a lot of things that exist now that did not exist in 1985. I think if anybody in 1985 said, "What is vinyl fencing?" That sounds horrible. Yet our neighborhood, big white vinyl fence, is pretty nice. Technically, if you look at the CCNRs, we are not allowed to use the vinyl fence. That would be something that I would like to see in the new CCNRs. So when we talk about updates and we talk about overhauling it, it's more of modernize the language, modernize the things that exist now, try to open it up so that we're going forward, we don't have the same sort of situation as we do with the vinyl fence, for example. But at the same time, I think we all like kind of how our neighborhood is. I don't want to radically change anything. It's more clarification. And again, with Lindsay's move towards that, which I would love to help with the ACC aspects particularly, because every time something comes through, we read it so we know what sort of things are either not dealt with the original documents, or just kind of get, oh, maybe this is something that we really should consider adding in because so many people want it and technically it's against the rules, maybe we need to change the rules, those sorts of things. Always open to having someone say, hey, is this something we can consider? I believe we just passed the first ADU 3 years ago. So that was a new thing. And when I was on the group when that went through, and we kind of went, well, it's not dealt with because it's not dealt with. So we are definitely trying to find ways to say yes, and that would be part of the point of updating our CCNRs. I do hope that we do get some more volunteers for the ACC committee. As a member, it really does not take much time at all. It's all done electronically. You get an email, you follow the link, you review the request and the attached color sample or diagram or whatever, and there's a little space for you to vote I approve, or a little space that says there's no color attached to this. Can we find out what color it is? It takes, if on a busy month, maybe 20 minutes total across the month. It's a really quick, easy sort of thing to ease you into participation. And we can always use extra people because you always want to be able to have more than one person take a look at the paperwork and see if there's anything that we have questions about, or, oh, look, I didn't even notice that that was technically against the rules and they need to shift it 4 feet to the right, or something simple like that. I really would appreciate any additional volunteers. Right now, I believe it's myself and one other, assuming that the election goes through properly. I'm technically unopposed. But we would love to have more members, and I believe we can have members volunteer after the election. Is that correct? Yeah. So if you do change your mind and want to volunteer after the election, please let us know. Any questions? Yes, I'll take the course. I just haven't had a chance.
I don't know if this question is necessarily directly to you, but the board is supposed, the ACC is supposed to consist of 5 members and an alternate, and you're the only one running. So who is on the ACC now? How many people? And how many other people do we need to be on the board to meet the quota? So we're down 3 people then basically on the board. Yes, but you have to have 5 members plus an alternate. You're supposed, well, the bylaws say you're supposed to, and the bylaws also say that she's not running for chairman. She's running for the committee because the committee elects its chairman.
Okay, then I'm sorry, I misspoke. I am running as a member. I am volunteering to chair if we decide that.
The ACC is supposed to have 3 members plus an alternate. 3 members plus an alternate. I think if you check, it's 3. Okay. I'm pretty sure, but let me know if we're not. But no. I remember when we used to meet at Travis' house. No, okay. Okay. Well, check, but I think it's 3. Okay. Okay. But by the way, I like your idea of sending out an email, for instance, to all the members of who can go to this course. If you have any links, Ron, you can send us. Okay. If you could forward that to me.
That's cool.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you could send it to me, we'll put it out to the community. If anybody wants to take it, that's free. The election of AC members says members shall be elected for a term of 2 years. Nothing shall prevent any member from running for additional terms. 2 full members plus an alternate shall be elected each year at the time of the general election. At the time of the next general election, the alternate shall become a full member, and then the association will elect 2 full members plus alternate. Well, we'll have our attorney read because I read it as 3. So we'll have the attorney check it out for us. Yep. Yeah, we need more people. Ron, we'd love to have you volunteer for the ACC. Yes, we'd love to have 5. You know, doesn't hurt anything. But we can't get people to. We got Ron's going to carry over from last year. We got Amy carrying over from this year. You know, no one else has put their name in. So that's the problem we have. You're supposed to have 5 maybe, or 3, whatever it matters. It doesn't matter whether it's 3 or 5. We don't have the people to volunteer. So until they volunteer, we'll have what we have. That's the best we can do. Any other questions? The election next week, we have to have 20% of the community has to vote to make it a valid election. So, and it's a majority vote. So please show up and just vote. Take you a couple minutes to walk in, sign in, show your ID, fill out the ballot, and stick it in the ballot box. And that'll be the end of it. Any other questions? Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate the people that really care and show up.